Hey. No, you need to look at me.
I don't have to do.
Okay, take him out. Security, get him out of here.
Want more videos from our channel? That red subscribe button is all you need to press. Hey there gang, what's up and welcome back to our channel. Dr. Phil, a television personality, calls troubled people on his show to hear them all out. He is known for his restraint and patience. He tries to understand the troubled guest who sits in front of him and decides to spill their side of the story. But every person has a limit to their endurance, and Dr. Phil is human after all. In fact, there have been moments during the show when he just couldn't handle it and completely lost it. Let's take a look at a couple of those moments right here and now. Number 10, did you go to 5th grade? Dr. Phil is mindful of the struggles one might bring to him. He is open to hearing even the most twisted and dark stories, but what effectively caught him off guard was this 15-year-old girl. She was accompanied by her mother when she was invited over to the platform to share her story, and what was revealed was a tirade of rebellious acts she did to spite her mother. Concerned and worried for Danielle, her mother was visibly upset and even teared up when Danielle went on to brag about her misdeeds. What shocked Dr. Phil was a remorseless confession of stealing a car. This prompted him to raise a question to her in light of her gray morals. Did you go to 5th grade? This unusual reaction from Dr. Phil was not received very well by either the audience or the guest herself. To follow up with it, she said, "Catch me outside, how about that?" threatening the audience.
Catch me outside, how about that?
Catch you outside? What does that mean?
What I just said.
Number 9, you, sir, have a black heart. This episode was quite possibly the darkest one to ever air on the show. Two estranged spouses are reunited on the platform 6 months after their son's passing. Pamela and Pete are visibly hateful of each other. They have a laundry list of complaints and reservations. And after separating, it's only natural to have unanswered questions. But what was truly horrifying was what Pete said. All was resolved despite Pete running out on his family with some woman on a holiday resort. He abandoned his family, his 2 teenage sons, and a loving wife. The chaos that ensued was far more intense. This schism within the family was hard to handle for their son, and this is what Pete blamed Pamela for. The accusation was unacceptable for Dr. Phil, and he went on to lecture Pete on how reckless he was.
Blame him for the death of their 15-year-old son, Peter Jr., who committed suicide just 6 months ago.
Number 8, get a job. This young man thought he was right at his place, aspiring to be a singer and staying in his mother's house. He says that he has ambitions to reach. Dr. Phil was patiently listening to the guy. Some people are embodiments of privilege and easy life, and he goes on to speak about how he's had troubles. But Dr. Phil was very quick in straightening up the kid. He asked him to listen very carefully and told him to get a job. Dr. Phil said that if he truly looked up to him, he should take some responsibility for himself and get his life straight.
Get a job! Get a job!
Number 7, you don't put words in my mouth. Alaska, who found a new and twisted way to earn some money, was on the show with her partner. She's on the stand, and her partner continues to express his complaints. He said that he didn't like the way Alaska was earning, and Dr. Phil was listening to his words and attempted to weigh in. Here, Alaska interrupts him and asks him not to insinuate that she had any other intention than to just dab into the entertainment business. Here, Dr. Phil just loses it. He says it as it is, and that she shouldn't put words in his mouth. Alaska here just rolls her eyes and faces the other direction.
Look at me. Look at me. You don't put words in my mouth.
Number 6, you're committing a crime. Lecturing the kid on laws makes it known that she was committing a crime. It was also made known that her mother will be charged with any deviation she would make. Additionally, Dr. Phil addresses the mother and says that you're responsible for what she allows her daughter to do. Her justification that everyone does it doesn't mean it's okay for her to allow her daughter to do it. since underage people cannot legally give consent and her mother is responsible since she's her legal guardian. Dr. Phil was astounded at the levels of such recklessness and irresponsible behavior.
You're going to see what you've created here.
Yes.
What you've created is a disrespectful young child here.
Number 5, let me please have an intelligent conversation. Have you seen a parent frustrated with their children? And yes, it was similar to what Dr. Phil was doing. Being constantly interrupted by these two guests he had invited over, he interjected saying, "Let me have an intelligent conversation." Because these two women were going back and forth arguing, mindless and senseless bickering went on for a significant portion of the show's episode. Dr. Phil has had enough when he decided that neither should now get a chance to talk to each other or even speak in their defenses. Resolved in his conviction, he then continues to teach them why communication should be of prime importance.
Let me please have an intelligent conversation without you two bickering back and forth.
Number 4, kicking off Bum Fight's producer. You wouldn't expect a producer of a fighting show to be kicked off. The pun is in the situation. Well, this producer of an illegal show, which routinely violates ethical regulations, is banned in many states and a significant amount of countries. The producer of the show somehow bags the opportunity to make an appearance on the show, but when he shows up, he's visibly dressed up as Dr. Phil and impersonates him. Walking on the platform and Dr. Phil sees him, he's rightfully ticked off and just asks him to leave. You must do something unbearably stupid to test Dr. Phil's patience.
Yeah, keep telling yourself that. You can go.
Number 3, vegan. This guy was confident in his antics. Known and repulsive because of his eccentric attitude, as he enters the show, he makes a rather cringe-worthy entrance, yelling to announce his presence. Anyone would be put off at this. But the boiling point for Dr. Phil came when the guy went on to blatantly and publicly disrespect his mother, calling her ugly, and then concluded his disrespect by dancing off across the floor. When he was busy engrossed in his movies, Dr. Phil addresses him and says, "Look at me," but this wasn't received very well by the vegan, and he directs his disrespect towards Dr. Phil, who then asks his crewmates to take him away from the show. That was childish and immature behavior, but he did later apologize to his audience.
I'm going to come out here and use that kind of language in front of my audience. And audience, I apologize.
Number 3, are you kidding me? Well, you must be, given that these 3 adults acted so immaturely and invisible in clear contrast and disregard of their children's well-being. Dr. Phil loses it because for him, no child should be exposed to an adult's indiscretions. Fighting on a football ground in front of their children, all of them resort to calling each other derogatory comments and remarks. Unacceptable for Dr. Phil, he just lashes out at the adults, saying that this should be about the children and to provide a model for them.
There's a child in the middle of this, and the child is paying the price for this.
Absolutely.
Number 1, kicking out an internet stalker. You are very manipulative, Dr. Phil says. He says that she should stop playing the victim when she goes on to sell the story that she got heartbroken by her internet bae. But Dr. Phil just couldn't take her presence and a made-up sob story anymore and just asked her to leave.
That's pretty direct, right?
Yes, sir, it is.
Interpret that for me.
What do you guys think? Do you think Dr. Phil was in the right to lash out at these guests, or do you think he should have been more professional? Let us know down in the comments below. And while you're here, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this video to your friends and loved ones. Also, don't forget to watch the 2 videos that are on your screen right now, as they're just as good as this one. And with that, I'll catch you guys later in another video. Bye now.